Hello and welcome to Let's Talk About Disabilities. Here, as you can see, dis is in parentheses because having a disability does not mean the person cannot do something, they just may do it differently. There's also no disability picture here because people with disabilities do not have disabilities, they have abilities. This presentation is meant for individual or group use. During the presentation, I will be talking about some strengths, challenges, treatments, and strategies of individuals with certain disabilities. These will be geared to adults with these disabilities, but children could experience them too. Please note that not all of these pertain to everyone with these disabilities, and they may experience strengths, challenges, and have treatments and strategies that are not listed. I will also be showing some stimulation videos I found online along with asking you questions. I invite you to pause the video during these times to think about possible answers or discuss them as a group. If you are in a group, now is a good time to make some rules for the group so that everyone feels comfortable, as some of the topics we'll be discussing may be very sensitive to some. I would recommend to write down the rules you come up with, perhaps on a whiteboard if available, so everyone can see them. If anyone does feel uncomfortable at any time, it is okay to stop watching or walk away if you are in a group. I recommend that the leader of a group emphasizes this to their members and ensures them that no one will take offense if they leave. Goals for a day. For individuals with disabilities, it is very challenging to deal with a disability alone. When others have a hard time believing or understanding what they are going through, it can be that much more stressful. Today we will learn about some challenges associated with different disabilities and a little bit as to what it is like to have them. We will also learn what these individuals do to overcome their challenges and what you can do to help them. Disability categories. There are many types of disabilities. Most of these can be put into two categories: visible disabilities and non-visible disabilities. A visible disability is when someone can see just by looking at a person that they have a disability. This can be someone who is in a wheelchair or on crutches. Other times it is not obvious that someone has a disability. The person can look perfectly fine, but instead they can be struggling with a disability. This can include those with a learning disability, hearing impairment, and more. We will talk about these in detail in a moment. Here's a list of the disabilities we will be discussing today from each category. As you can see, some are visible disabilities and some are non-visible disabilities, such as dyslexia. Types of therapies. Some of the treatments of these disabilities involve certain types of therapies. Physical therapy works on bigger muscles and helps reduce pain and enhance movement. Occupational therapy can help with smaller muscles and improve the ability to perform day-to-day activities. Speech therapy could include sound exercises and mouth strengthening techniques. And listening therapy uses sounds to help with a function and teaching people to do an action a certain way while they listen to a particular sound. Physical disability. A physical disability is when a disability affects someone's ability to move. Some examples are if a person can't walk, broke their arm, or is missing a limb. These individuals may use assistance to get around and attend physical therapy. Vision disability. People who have a hard time seeing are considered to have a visual disability. How much a person can see is measured by how many feet away they can see something. This reading is displayed in percent form. Here the top number indicates how many feet a person with a vision impairment can see something from. The bottom number indicates how many feet away someone with typical vision can see the same object. Perfect vision is 20/20 vision, which on an eye chart is a fourth line from the bottom. Some tasks have vision requirements. For an example, to get a driver's license in the US, you need at least 20/40 vision. I will now show you what vision is like for someone who has 20/200 vision. This means they need to stand 20 feet away from an object to see it, when someone without a vision impairment could see it from 200 feet away. As you can see here, these individuals have blurry vision. It can even be hard to make out what is on the ground. What are some ways this vision could cause challenges for these people? Some treatments and strategies for those who have difficulty seeing are glasses, hand help, or mount on from a telescope. So if they put their finger around the eye or use a telescope that does it for them. Listening devices such as hearing aids, large print, bright lights, special lenses, and visors or hats that provide gear reduction. Hearing impairments. Some people have difficulty hearing. Hearing levels are measured by decimal hearing levels, or dBHLs, which measure the tone level of a sound that a person can hear. So an adult who has a mild hearing impairment may hear between 26 and 40 decibel hearing levels, while someone who is profoundly deaf could only hear when a sound is 91 decibel hearing levels or greater. We will now hear what it can sound like to have a hearing impairment. What are some ways a hearing impairment can affect someone's daily life? What are some ways a hearing impairment can affect someone's daily life? Sorry about that. Some treatments that can improve someone's hearing are hearing aids, which are those little devices that go around the ear that are not Bluetooth devices. People who have problems hearing tend to pick up the skill of reading people's lips to understand what they are saying. Sign language is another alternative to how these people communicate, along with using writing and typing to communicate instead of listening or speaking. Autism spectrum disorder. Autism is one of the more known disabilities. The criteria for it is very wide, which is why there is a spectrum. Some can be non-verbal, while others can just have social problems. Here's a list of other challenges along with strengths that they may have. Some of these people may have above normal intelligence, not care about what others think of them, and be honest and loyal, but be socially awkward and find communication a challenge. I do want to emphasize that not everyone with autism has all of these symptoms. We will now see what it is like for someone with autism to walk down the street. Again, I want to point out that not everyone who has autism would walk down the street like this. Some may, though. What are everyone's thoughts? What are some challenges that the person in the video faces? Some treatments for patients with autism include some of the therapies we discussed earlier. Dyslexia. Many think dyslexia is just reversing letters and numbers, but that is only part of it. Like autism, there is a range of symptoms people with dyslexia can have, and not everyone has all of them. Dyslexia can affect reading, spelling, writing, and math. These people can have difficulty identifying sounds, comprehension, and retention. They tend to be hands-on creative learners and can think in many ways. Next, I will show you a paragraph in a way someone with dyslexia may read and spell it. I'm now going to advance the slide to the correct spelling of this paragraph. If you need more time, please pause the video now and continue when you are ready. I'm now going to enhance the slide. If you need more time, please pause the video and continue when you are ready. Were you able to correctly read the paragraph from the first version of it? Some treatments for dyslexia are reading lectures, listening to books, flashcards, spelling and grammar check, speech and language therapy, tutoring, phonetic reading programs, which are reading programs that teach each sound individually over and over before putting letters into words. Dyspraxia. One disability that is similar to dyslexia but is different is dyspraxia. Dyspraxia has a wide range of symptoms. These individuals can be great with creative thinking, be hard workers, and have detailed memories of the past. They can be very caring, honest, and sincere. They can have challenges with following directions, not because they are stubborn, but because they can't remember them, and they can have difficulty figuring out directions on their own. They can have problems with their speech, organizing, writing, and they may experience social issues. The treatment and strategies for dyspraxia can range from the amount of concepts they learn at once to getting extra help, eliminating distractions, organizing charts, having new terms taught to them in advance, and giving them time to process during a conversation. Nonverbal learning disability. This one has a deceiving name. People with nonverbal disabilities are very verbal, often more so than most. Their strengths lie in having average to above average intelligence, high verbal scores, a strong ability to remember and repeat spoken information, and they can learn better by hearing information than by seeing it. Their challenges can lie with wanting friends but unsure how to make them, and reading body language. Their fine motor skills and fine motor coordination, such as being clumsy and having poor coordination of where they are in relation to their surroundings, can be a challenge as well. They can also have a hard time with change, following many steps at once, and they can take things too literally at times. For people with non-verbal learning disabilities, it helps when they can prepare for change and preview what is expected. It also eases their challenges when concepts are broken down for them and when they are given extra time. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, also known as ADHD. At one time, people would have ADD or attention deficit disorder. Then they had ADD and ADHD. Now ADD and now ADD has joined with ADHD, and the term ADD is no longer used. These people have challenges that range from having a lack of attention to anxiety to being disorganized and have depression. We will now see how many things can go through the mind of someone with ADHD. Here you will see how they are seeing and thinking about what seems like a million things at once. What are everyone's thoughts on this video? What challenges do the people in the video face? At the same time, these same individuals can be very creative and adventurous. They can see the bigger picture, and when things do change or do not go right, they are okay with it. But they often have a lot of energy. People with ADHD can seek help by role-playing a situation before it happens, using checklists of things to do for the day so they can see their progress and what is left. Organization charts can also help them keep organized. Given directions by someone who looks them in the eye can help them process. When there is a lot of information at once, it is best to have the work broken down into smaller detailed parts, step by step. It also helps to have people with ADHD repeat steps back to you after you have given them to ensure that the person understands them. Putting context to a musical tune can help them remember as well. To help these people focus, it is usually helpful to have them perform another small task, such as squeezing a ball or chewing gum, while they are trying to focus on something else. A reduced distractive environment, away from loud noise, windows and doors, etc., can help too. Executive function disorder. Executive functionings are skills and tasks used to complete daily activity. People with executive function disorder have difficulty with such things as organizing, going from one thing to another, self-monitoring, short-term memory, and following and understanding directions. Some things that help people with executive function disorder are having a routine, doing the same thing at the same time every day, knowing what will happen. They can also be helped when someone gives them directions and numbers them and breaks them down for them. If possible, drawing a picture of the directions or connecting it with something else they already know so they have another way to remember it helps as well. Of course, it is always good to have them repeat the step back to you. Sensory processing disorder. People with sensory processing disorder are sensitive to touch. This can be clothes, sand at the beach, and food. They can also be sensitive to different temperatures, noises, and tastes too. As a result of any of these they just cannot stand, they could had, vomit, or have a panic attack when they are exposed. We will discuss more about panic attacks in a moment. These people can also have coordination challenges in relations to themselves and to the rest of the room. It can be hard for them to tell how much room they take up and how much room they have to do X, Y, and Z, for example. Treatments and strategies. The treatment and strategies for sensory processing disorder consists of occupational therapy and listening therapy, which we talked about earlier. Anxiety and panic attacks. There are many types of mental health disorders, but I'm just going to talk about anxiety and panic attacks today. These can come at any time without any reason. The symptoms people have when they have such an attack are listed here. It range from muscle tension to restlessness and feeling like they are dying. It is important to know if someone has some of these symptoms, it does not mean they are necessarily having an anxiety or panic attack. These symptoms will also come at different extents for everyone. I also want to emphasize that some of these are just feelings and are not actually what is happening. A person with a panic attack can feel like they are dying, but won't be. their vital signs such as blood pressure would be fine. If you are with someone when they are having an anxiety or panic attack, it is important to ask the person what helps them get through it. Often, if they have had one before, they will know. Some people want to be alone. Some people, that is the last thing that they want. Speech impairments. Some people have a speech impairment where they have a hard time pronouncing certain sounds. These individuals may find help with speech therapy or simply slowing down their speech. Don't be afraid to ask someone with a speech impairment to repeat themselves. Often a person would realize it is possible that they have said something wrong and would appreciate being asked to repeat themselves instead of letting it go and the person not knowing what they said. Here's a list of people with disabilities who have succeeded in life and become famous. The reason why I show this is because these individuals have disabilities but succeeded. Albert Einstein, an inventor, had autism. Thomas Edison, another inventor, had a hearing impairment. Charles Darwin, an author, had a speech impairment. Bob Dole, a U.S. president, had a physical disability. Jay Leno, a stand-up comedian, had dyslexia. Stevie Wonder, a singer, has a vision impairment. We need to make every single thing accessible to every single person with a disability. Stevie Wonder recently said this in regard to accessibility for the disabled. When it comes down to it, people with disabilities can be summed up what people with disabilities want can be summed up in one sentence. Kids, and adults for that matter, who require additional support aren't really different. They only want what everyone wants, to be accepted. What are some ways we can help people with disabilities? There are many things you can do to support someone with a disability. You can support them. Don't think that they are faking. Help with the strategies of their disability. When I say help with the strategies here, I mean if one of the strategies is breaking down information or looking them in the eye when you talk to them and give them direction, do it. Don't be afraid to ask questions if they seem open to it. Don't criticize something they do if it's part of their disability. When I said don't criticize here, I mean if they have a speech disability, don't make fun of their speech. Ask them to repeat themselves when you do not understand them. Accept any accommodations that they get. Let me give you an example. Would you have liked extra time on a test? That is accommodation that, depending on the disability, some people can get. Think about how fast someone's mind works who does not have a disability. Someone with a disability who, let's say, has problems processing, mind works slower, and that extra time is so they are able to do the amount of work someone without a disability can have in a normal allotted time. So respect and support that they get it, but someone without that disability does not get that extra time. Finally, remember, people with disabilities are not stupid. They have many abilities. If you would like to visit any of the stimulation pages, please refer to the screen now for their links.